TDS Aftershow, episode 3, finally starting.
Solitario, you're very pretty.
My fucking earbuds don't feel like they're the right.
I just wanted to give Solitario permission to talk to really stretch out the show.
Well done, Rabbitt.
I already want to.
Because we all know that if Solitario talks, that she's going to be going for quite a while.
Don't talk about
You know what I really love, though, is that Solitario was just called beautiful. It's like every woman out there. She's just like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't put my earbuds in.
I like that I came right out of the gate with the girl hate.
Oren, you have a grievance you wanted to bring before the cast?
Give me a minute. I'm mixing my.
You motherfucker! You piece of absolute dog shit!
Listen. This cream soda is too valuable for me to spill.
What the fuck are you mixing into a cream soda? You literal fucking fat ass!
Come.
Some rum.
Why are you drinking cream soda? Cream soda is disgusting.
Cream soda and rum.
It's like the worst.
Okay, I know how that sounds. And any other kind of rum or cream soda that wouldn't work, but this IBC
Cream soda and rum to make a cream cum.
Yeah.
A crumb.
Yeah.
I love a good cum soda. Dude, if I could bottle my hot wife's boyfriend's semen, I could slurp that down.
I mean,
I
you
should probably
can.
add a little bit to this, and it'd probably be perfect.
Good old Navy soda.
Anthem, you got the whole squad not laughing.
Yeah.
Fucking Scar. You better make us all fucking chuckle hard when you're coming out spicy like that.
So that's why
So what was
everybody
the
has
grievance?
muted and if you smop.
Yeah, okay.
grievance.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You have some
whatever.
grievances.
I
Oren, I'm
did
ready.
not appreciate the way you edited the last episode.
Please do tell.
As everyone here knows as a fact, 1 minute.
You watched it?
Why would you? What?
It's spicy.
Did he just leave?
Damning.
As everybody knows, I am fucking hilarious.
No.
I'm sure nobody's going to argue that. Absolutely no one will say anything to the contrary there. And if they do, they're fucking gay.
Yeah.
You edited out the laughter of like half the jokes and just left dead air there and then clicked forward
brother.
in the second
Hell
episode.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, I was fucking hilarious and got everybody riotous. And you just cut out the laughter, so I look like a jackass who's not funny. And I don't appreciate that.
Is the
Well,
After
check the
Show
tapes.
podcast Jetbat's secret prank?
You can release
Is
the uncut episode if you recorded it, but it's
Yeah.
no one's gonna-
Yeah, I can.
Is
No, you
rioted
guys-
a word?
If you guys really want me to,
Right.
I'll release the uncucked version.
Yeah, TDS Aftershow uncut.
It's even worse. I guarantee you, it's even worse.
Yes.
Posted
Come
on
to Gov.
Yeah.
failblog.org.
Actually, we deserve it. Okay, Oren, your grievances have been noted.
The only reason why I have
I
bad
like
mic
them.
quality right now is because I'm not at home. I'm actually with my beautiful family because I actually care about them.
Why?
So I am broadcasting remotely from
Yes.
my remote studio with a shitty headset microphone. So that's why.
Are they also listening to you right now?
They always have to listen to me in my rages and my rants, but they love me for
Dad,
it.
shut up. I gotta go talk to the guys in the Discord.
Excuse me while I go have an hour-long conversation with this literal retard on the internet, so tens of thousands of people can laugh at it. It's good on you, Cantillions.
They are proud of me. They are very proud of me.
Mhm.
Come on.
Oh, my mom knows everything. Like she was like deeply involved in the Chris-Cant saga. She listened to every episode. She thought it was the funniest shit she's ever heard in her life.
Did she get a dick pic?
She did not see the dick pic, no, but I did tell her about the dick pic that everybody drew over.
Cants, what did your mom think of Chris the Kiwi?
My mom thought he was her words exactly. He's a fucking retard. Solitario, you said that I bought the Amico only as a bit. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, like in a few months, you're hoping to get a bit out of this. Like, what's the plan?
The original plan is I heard about the console. It seemed interesting. I actually really like Tommy, and I like what he's done for the video games as a whole. He's been a great reviewer. It seems like an interesting project. And it's either going to be pretty fucking cool, and I also just really want to play Earth Warden Jim and Echo, or it's going to be terrible. If it's terrible, I think it's going to make a great bit in the future. I'll review it. It'll just be like another Ouya. And I have disposable income. $250 is nothing. So I think that's it. I think it's good investment for comedy or for some pretty fucking fun games. I mean, I'm so tired. Like, I'm already tired with the Switch. I'm not going to get a PS5. Xbox is just a second, like, smaller, less powerful PC, and all the games come to PC anyways. And I have a good PC. So
I don't know what you're talking about with Switch. I love my Metroid Prime 4 machine.
I mean,
life is pain, end me.
I mean, Xenoblade is pretty good.
I wonder what it would be like working as a once prominent gamer, not even prominent, just like a normal everyday gamer off the street, and then actually be hired by a video game company to consult on a game. I mean, it seems like because the only people I see who are actually game designers or working these games, like look at Neil Druckmann, for example. If we want to go into The Last of Us 2 bit, I've never seen an entire industry not listen to its fan base or listen to the people who actually buy the games more than video game developers. I mean, every other software company I work for, I've seen like they listen to their customers like, you know what, hey, we're going to change this immediately, or we understand, but they just don't give a fuck. They really don't
this
care.
time we have an avalanche of memes, the likes of which has never been seen before. Oh my god!
Well, here's the thing about that. You see, gamers can't get hired by anywhere because they say the N-word too much.
Too many gamer words in their social media profile.
Yeah, there's a reason they're called gamer words.
Speaking of race wars, the whole ambulance issue with them getting all
Incredible
indignant
segue.
about the EMTs refusing to offer help because of the autonomous zone or some bullshit.
I don't think you understand that the whole of the ambulance actually going into the autonomous zone has nothing to do with the autonomous zone. It has to do with the fact that there's no cops. Well, kind of does, but there's no cops that are allowed in there because EMTs will not go into an active shooting or a homicide situation until police officers go there and clear the scene.
On that note, Cantillions, I certainly don't fault the paramedics and EMTs for not intervening in like what seems to be quite a dangerous situation. That just makes sense, right?
You shouldn't fault them. You shouldn't even fault them at all. Like that's the policy. That is what EMTs do. Because if they go in there and then all of a sudden they're trying to rescue this guy and then they get shot themselves, then you're going to have another EMT coming in there and it's just going to be like this whole big mess of a situation. And you have to have police in situations like that.
I'm not
it's a heart attack.
I wouldn't drive into an active war zone for $16 an hour.
How many dollars per hour would you drive into an active war zone for?
100.
Literally all of them. And then I would think about it.
I would do it for free if I had a gun and a full license to do whatever the fuck I wanted.
If you could just like shoot commies and no one cared.
Exactly. Then I'd absolutely go in there and rescue everybody.
You can do that now. I mean,
yeah,
nobody cares about the commies.
But I'm not a boogaloo boy.
There was a great PKA bit covering something like that where they did a bit on like, oh, what if there was like a war tourism industry where like you pay a contractor to go buddy with them, you get to LARP as like an actual fucking soldier guy, go to Syria, take in the view, get shot at. It's like that seems like a great idea.
Actually, that does sound like a lot of fun. That sounds like I'd grow a big old fucking beard. I just like I'd wear a bandana and like Oakleys. Just be like, fuck yeah, let's go. And then the best part is that you would have real war stories that you can go tell in a bar and get laid.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part, is that you can be like, no.
That's the angle.
That's a great angle. Women love a tough guy who went to war. Come on.
You see, well, the thing there is that you get to then go do all the army. You get to go pretend to be army, but you don't have to do the army bullshit where you get underpaid and you're locked into a contract for years and years.
And then you retire and the fucking VA still fucks you. No. You don't have to worry about any of that. You get your own private health insurance afterwards.
Maybe we'll have to save the Hazencruz part for later if TNB's not
I'm
here.
fine doing it when he's not fucking here. He acted like a complete cunt last night. If Spurger or Brap joins in, they'll testify to that.
Oh, TNB. You're saying you're accusing TNB of acting like a spurg last night about it.
Well, not to a great extent. He didn't do anything, but he just tried to big lick me with his Mon status after I called him out for failing to argue any point in favor of Hazencruz being at the Kentucky Meetup. And honestly, I was kind of drunk and just letting him talk and then saying, well, you didn't make a point there. You're just saying that you know the guy and you like him, which is fine. I don't hate Hazencruz. I think he just fucked up once, but I don't judge a guy by his lowest moment, even if the autistic spurg out lasted a week. I mean, we all fuck up. We all go there. We were all 22 once. We were supposed to be assholes then. And then we realized we were assholes and fixed that. But at the same time, Mitt and Riley are going to be there. And I don't think Hazencruz ever buried the hatchet on that one. And I kind of don't want that to fuck with everything.
For all the non-autists out there,
a specter over the proceedings.
Well, for all the non-autists out there, what exactly happened with Hazencruz? Like, what's the drama? Who does he hate? Who hates him?
Can I take this?
He didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Long story short, he did bits for the show, like Facebook News, a couple other things. I think mainly that. Dick liked them enough to put them on the show, but not enough to really pay for them. And then Hazencruz is like, "Can you start paying me for bits?" And Dick understands that the content for the show is not properly compensated for, but he didn't like Riley's bits too awfully much. The Facebook News was getting stale and such, but he sent him $350 just so that he because he felt bad for him. He literally said because he felt bad for him, he wanted to give him something for his time, but they weren't really worth anything.
Yeah, Dick had originally solicited bits that he had asked him for as well.
But he sent the bits and they weren't up to snuff, according to Dick.
Well,
they weren't worth
and
the
then
money.
he kept sending bits that Dick didn't ask for, and then wanted to get paid for those.
After Dick said that he didn't want to pay for the bits anymore, they weren't really good enough, he kept sending them, and then Dick used some of them just because they were there.
The problem with both Hazen and FaZe was basically they treated what is contract labor and acted like it was some sort of job of regular income.
I was gonna say, it sounded like they were unionizing. They were talking about like standard prices and the bar.
That's what FaZe was talking about. She kept saying she wasn't, but like that was the entire point she was making.
Wait,
like,
Miss
FaZe? Yeah,
Miss FaZe was looking for compensation as well.
Yeah,
for what?
FaZe was saying that she was representing the unheard.
Yeah,
she was acting exactly like a union rep.
Essentially, if you want the story, just rewatch the episode called "Dick on Getting Robbed."
Wait, I remember this now. Yeah, you're right.
Minutes he goes over exactly what happened in detail, but essentially, Hazen spurged out, so did a bunch of other people. 80s girl got dragged in with accusations again because people were butthurt, and I don't think Hazen had anything to do with that, but I believe FaZe did. Long story short, my opinion of Hazencruz is that he didn't do anything that he can't just show up and say, "Hey, I was mad. Sorry for fucking around, but I felt like you owed me a little bit. You know, I want to come back in." I feel like everybody would be cool with him coming back, but he's in self-imposed exile because of his pride. And he tried to big league mint salad by refunding $4 on Patreon. It's like, man, just come on.
No.
It always comes back to Mint and Riley. And it's like, they're just
beanie.
Hazen has mostly stayed out of it.
Living in a house. Riley has low impulse control. Mint's 20 and a woman.
I was gonna say they're all like young little shits and they have bad impulse control.
Need to say more. So it's just, but like Riley's great and everybody's jealous of him. I'm jealous of Riley. Holy shit! Like
why are you jealous of Riley?
Because he had an e-thought pay him for sex.
I'm not jealous. I have a neck beard and I can wear a beanie. I'm not.
That's why.
I don't know who any of these fucking people are.
Yeah,
if you're a better man for it.
You would. But essentially,
no, you're a better man for not knowing who these people are.
It comes down to Hazen wants to come. Riley and Mint are coming. I'm thinking that's just a bad thing waiting to happen. But
what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Hazen spurgs out and Brap tells him to fucking leave, and he does. But at the same time,
if we record it,
But the worst case scenario, no, that's just something that could happen. The worst case scenario is that he stays, nobody has the balls to bring it up, and then he's like a specter over the proceedings where nobody really wants to have fun or say anything because they're worried Hazencruz is going to use them against them later because gay ops has come from people we thought was on our side before.
That's not going to happen at all.
Yeah, Hazencruz has mostly dipped out of it. FaZe has popped up a few times to be a bitch about stuff, but
we had other problems.
You know what I think a perfect cure for all this, for all these problems, is to not expect to give bits or fun stuff for the show and expect money out of it. Ever. I don't think that anything that half these fuckers are doing.
The payment is the regard of your peers and fellow Morlocks in the server.
Exactly.
And I was going to say, secondarily, if you do get paid, don't ever make that like a standard. Think that's what's going to happen.
And if you think you deserve money for your bits, put a Patreon out and blast it out. We've shilled everything before. Nobody cares if you shill yourself. If people want to give you money to encourage you to do more, they'll give you money on Patreon, a new project too.
Well, I went to Hazencruz because I wanted him to make a theme song for the Chris-Cant cast. So I paid him because I said, hey, can you make this for me? And he did, and everything was great. That's when you, like, if you're good, then people will pay you. Don't expect to be paid by anybody if you're doing something for free. You're
and
like
if you're doing it professionally, put your prices up front and say, this is what I expect for it.
Let's be honest, it's because JMMA.
Oh my God!
He was paying him so much money that he was like, "Nah, I'm in the big leagues now."
If I ever fucking fixed somebody's computer for them,
yeah, wasn't he paying like a shit ton to edit videos or something?
Yeah. But then again, JMA and we don't really know what's going on with that deal.
All the shit went to his brain.
Mm-hmm. But he came back and apologized. JMA, I don't think he's spurred out since then, which is good. Good for him. He realized he aired, came back, faced music. And I don't think he's done anything since. You got all this lockdown bullshit. It's getting to people's heads. I'm a fucking hermit. I don't go outside. I go outside less than Sean probably does, but this lockdown shit is still getting to me just because of how people are acting. You walk into a store, you see people with masks on, and just normally they just avoid you because they don't want to bump into you. Now it's like they're afraid of you. Like, and I live in Texas, where in a town where people don't really care all that much. Everybody just is pretty lax here in this area, but you still got people just so afraid of everything. It's like people are expecting a gun to go off somewhere. There's so much tension in the air.
Yeah.
Like
no, I agree. I think
we're something.
We've all gone crazy. I mean, being locked in for now 3 months. I mean, I've still gone out. Like, bars are open, but even when I go out to a bar, I'm just like, something just doesn't feel. This doesn't feel right. Like, the bartenders are wearing masks. It's kind of empty.
Which I think is why Kentucky Meetup. I hate that it's so far away because people need it right now. People need to be next to each other. Like, the people in this call, they need to all come together and just, be able to fucking breathe around other people and not have to worry about getting anything. Just say stupid shit and scream the N-word into a forest over at Brap's place and not having to call you out for it. There's going to be Kentucky Meetup. At the Kentucky Meetup, there is going to be a N-word screaming contest, and whoever screams the loudest gets a gold star on their chest.
Disavow. I won't participate. Disavow.
I don't understand how funny you think you are.
Cardboard. I'm going to get some construction paper, cardboard paper, on yellow construction paper, cut out a star and put it on their chest so everybody knows who they are.
Starbelly.
Wait, why is it in Kentucky?
Because Brap has 33 acres and his parents are really fucking cool.
And there's multiple dickheads nearby already. We'll have to talk to Brap and TNB, but my kind of takeaway from the Hazencruz talk, I think I side more with Cantillions on this, and this is probably because I really don't know Hazencruz at all, really. I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to say bar him or disinvite him just yet. I'm not willing to say that yet, but we can talk.
And I realize I'm starting to get tinfoil hatty with Hazencruz. Like, oh, what's he gonna do to fuck this up? Like, you're just. I know I'm probably sounding like a fucking.
Hazen's not that kind of guy. I talk to him all the time.
True, and I take your word for that. But it's just over
Some
the
of
years
people
I've
around him
learned
might.
that the best tool I have is my gut, and when it has a bad feeling, it is 90% of the time right.
You
And I'm just
do
thinking,
realize
Hazen's is going to screw something. Like, Hazen's going to start shit with Riley, or Riley's going to start shit with Hazen.
you guys sound like a bunch
Doubt
of
it.
women right now. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You guys are all like, "Oh my god, like,
My
can
only
we bring him?
concern-
Can we bring him as a friend?" And also, we should be having a conversation with him right now if we don't want to be a bunch of fucking bitches talking behind his back.
I was just gonna say,
Why don't you just settle it like men? They can punch each other in the face, get the aggression out, and then be cool with each
I
other.
would love to have Oz in here.
It's just my concern is that I need to go to Kentucky and not have to worry about this kind of bullshit happening because I'm tired of it. But
You're probably
don't know
fine.
him. You're all set.
Honestly, my take from an outside view is it's going to be very boring. He's going to show up, buy his ticket, he's going to have a drink in his hand, everyone's going to go, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And he's going to go, "Hey."
It's not a
And
ticketed
real,
event.
and it's real life, so it's like no one's gonna do shit. It's no one has the balls to just do shit in real life. Usually, they just calm down and go, "Oh, hey, yeah, we're cool."
Nipple rubbing.
All right, I'll take your word for that.
That's a fair take.
See, there we go. Everybody just grew up a little bit on this call.
Thank you, Uncle Cantillions. I feel like Cantillions is the mentor here.
I'm gonna say the N word.
Yeah.
We are going to have an honest conversation about race at the meetup, though.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
That is actually okay. Now, if we actually want to get into real shit, so I think we've all been wanting to have a conversation about race since President Obama, right? I think everybody was like, "Okay, we're ready. Let's talk about it. What do you want to talk about?" And nobody really knows what to talk about.
I think it's pretty obvious. The metrics speak for themselves. Ebony is far more popular than Asian on Pornhub. I don't know what else there is. To talk
Ebony,
about.
no way, retard. That's not real.
I wasn't going to call that on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm more going with the not believing it rather than shitting on his pronunciation.
I'm drunk. Shut up.
It comes from the land
don't
of
believe those
Ebony.
Ebony and Ivory living together in harmony.
In harmony.
What do you guys think about Chris D'Elia, texting 16-year-olds? Was that the story?
Yes, sir. 16 is legal here. Don't go a fuck.
Because I think I actually heard Ralph talk about this topic. Put the 16-year-olds aside, just talking about creators and internet famous people hooking up with their fans. What's the fucking point of becoming an e-celeb if you cannot leverage that to get laid?
Well, we all saw the pictures, right?
What is a celebrity if not someone who runs around and fucks all the time because people know who they are?
The answer to the question is not sex, it's money, because sex is only so good as the power that it brings, but money can bring a lot more. If you are a celebrity, you have your fucking pick of the litter, and you become a lot more picky. Sex becomes a lot less interesting because you have a lot less targets to hunt. You do it less frequently. If you have this sort of celebrity, and the thing about texting your fans, you are automatically entering into a relationship where you are in a position of power over them. And I'm not saying this in any sort of SJW way. I'm saying it in sort of like a leverage way. As far as leverage is concerned, they will say no to you much more or much less than you will say no to them. And especially if they're 16, man, as far as 16 is concerned, you can make the argument about post-pubescent and things of that nature, and I will not humor that conversation, but I will ponder it alone.
Me neither. Not going to that part.
Wiser and less drunker men than we have engaged in that debate and haven't come to any real conclusion.
One thing I will say about the matter of these young girls is that the one thing they do lack, if not years, is experience. They lack experience to know how to navigate tricky social situations with people that already have a position of power over them. You get that from interacting with superiors at work. You know how to talk to people that are above you and demand things of them.
But
it makes you a better
saw the
communicator to get a
pictures.
job. And when people are 16, they don't have a job. I also never did see the pictures. If he's sending cock to a child, I'll kill him.
No, the girls. These girls are being actual thirst traps all over their social media.
And I think that's the very interesting point. Sorry, Solitario.
Solitario is victim blaming.
There are plenty of parts of the world where they are of, appropriately legal age for sexual activity.
A person that's 16 is still a fucking child. Morality and law often don't fucking coexist.
Well,
Jesus, what kind of conversation did I walk into?
I think that it varies from.
Always end up talking about pedophilia. I
It's
wanted
an
to talk
individual basis on person to person, whether 16, 17, 18, 19. It varies because people are different levels of dumb at different ages. It's an individual thing.
So
I mean,
I know
if at 16 years old you are posting pictures of yourself in basically your underwear all over the
You
internet,
deserve what you get, especially.
you know what you are doing. You know what you're doing.
I would tend to disagree, Solitario,
Okay,
only
no.
because the reason why I disagree is because these women, these young girls who are posting pictures in their bikinis at 16 being seductive, they're simply a creation of the culture that surrounds them. So the reason
when they do
why
things like wearing makeup and stuff like that.
No, it hasn't. The reason why that they're doing this is because they are emotionally immature. They don't understand the nature of their actions. They simply look at other celebrities and other good-looking older women on Instagram. They're like, "Oh, I want to be like them," and they can't mentally comprehend that that's not really a good thing. That's dangerous. So, no, they
Is it
are
like
still
the
children.
Kylie Jenner effect.
Yeah, they're still children because they don't have the mental capacity to figure out their actions, and so. You have older men who
That's a
then,
fair assessment. I would concede to that. Yeah.
and older men then prey on that because I saw it, like I said today in the chat. I had a professor or teacher in high school who would bring these girls out. I shit you not. He brought these two. At the time, I thought they were hot, like attractive, like girls who looked like that. To Cold Stone. They couldn't have been any older than 15, 16. And he was buying them ice cream. And he was a well-known guy who would either, I don't know if he did anything while they were 16, but he definitely would date and fuck them when they graduated high school. He did that on multiple occasions.
So basically just grooming
That's some
in
Drake
general.
shit.
Yeah,
That
he was
dude
like,
sounds pretty cool.
he was probably like in his mid-30s, I'd say.
So how'd this conversation start in the first place? How do we get to the subject of grooming and...
I think I
because a
just have a
woman
really
talked.
warped perspective of it because I'm not gonna lie, when I was like 15, 16, I was having sex with older dudes, and I
hate
didn't
you.
think, and I didn't think anything. I didn't think anything of it.
Your
I just
vocal
thought it was
fry.
totally normal.
Listen,
I
I
thought it
can
was
physically
totally normal.
feel the vocal fry coming from your mic, so that doesn't surprise me at all. I just assumed that in the first place.
No, she's from the UK. She was being caught up in child groom gangs. So I mean, not surprising.
I have a friend.
think where,
I
like,
had a friend from the UK that was literally fucking like raped at a party. Like that shit happens
Jesus Christ.
Well, obviously it happens. We all know that rape.
by like a
happens.
millionaire, by like one of those fucking pedophile elites.
Oh,
Do we know his
we
name?
have a lot of those.
fucking lucky! When I got raped, it was by a homeless man in an alley.
Mine was by some
I liked
fat
that
chick
one.
down in a basement. It was
Oh
terrible.
shit, man, that's bad. At least
It was
mine.
really bad.
At least mine. Did yours at least bring lube? Mine did. He was nice.
No, she did butt stuff, and it made me feel really weird. And I told her
Damn.
no, but
Pitcher catch. Pitcher catch.
Wait, yeah, whose butt?
You have to ask that nowadays.
no
You
catch.
were blacked out. You were blacked out, right?
I was
So
not.
you
No,
just
this
woke
time I
up
wasn't black.
with a
This
weird
this
feeling
time I
in your
wasn't.
butt?
Disavow.
No, okay. So actually, I'll do this one really quick. So after we're down there in the basement, and I'm just like, "Hey, no, I don't want to do anything." She's like, "No, we're doing this." She takes off my pants, and then she just jumps on top of me. And I mean, like, I was having sex, and I was like, what, 19 at the time? So I'm like, okay, I can't really say no, I guess. And the next morning, I just
You
felt
can
really
always
gross.
say no.
Well,
your penis just
baby boy, you can
responded
always say
the way
no.
the way God intended, even though
Exactly.
you didn't want to.
Exactly.
Baby
And then
boy,
the worst part is the next morning, I'm falling asleep on the couch and I'm waking up with a horrible hangover. And then she comes from downstairs and she, comes up next to me and she's like, and she's fat and fucking gross. She's like, "Oh, hey, I had a great time with you last night." And I'm just like, and then she slaps my ass.
I
Walk-
can
and
imagine her
then
saying
walks
that
away.
in that manly voice of like, "Oh hey."
I'm just imagining fucking Ursula from The Little Mermaid,
Pretty much.
just grappling you and slamming her fat ass on you.
What do you guys think about Confederate statues?
I'm with Vic. Statues are great. I hate monuments to the government. I hate that we're maintaining them. I hate that I have to pay for all of the shitty sculptures downtown with tax money, and the roads are garbage because they spent $1 bajillion on statues instead of easements to put in fucking fiber. Fuck statues!
I think that it's true that there are such a thing as self-fulfilling prophecies, because General Custard finally did take his revenge. You see that statue cold clock that motherfucker?
Yeah. People's elbow from the top rope. Knock him out.
You know, the funny thing is, I don't even think anybody in the South really like Ralph said today. Nobody cares about them. And it's like, oh, they're there, cool. I'm sure even a lot of black people are like, I don't give a fuck. Most normal people just don't care.
Yeah, it's the 10% of every single group that's just a bunch of fucking assholes and worthless people that are the problem. It's every group has that 5 to 10% that are just bad, because 5 to 10% of the world is just bad inherently.
Yeah, the moderates.
Big brain take.
Yes. How dare Swiss be neutral in any capacity? How dare they?
Dare you have a nuanced argument on both sides and kind of understand where everybody's coming from? How dare you?
Yeah,
I know.
How dare you not have an opinion on a very, very, very bad situation?
Or a very
I'm a
complicated
terrible
one.
person. I don't toe the party line. What?
Holy shit! I just realized.
Green, what did you realize?
No, I just realized fucking D&D is more nuanced than reality.
Evil exists. No, it isn't.
Like, everybody's talking about the lizard people in the government. I'm talking about the gnolls in the savannah eating people. They're inherently evil. Okay, that's a thing.
There's
I don't
even
know
a
why we're arguing about this. They're literally eating people right
Where
now.
a spell from God tells you that things are evil.
It's like it's black and white because it's for fucking man-children. That's what D&D is. It's supposed to be simple. It's a story. You're playing out a children's storybook.
I know.
No, I'm saying the opposite.
Oh.
It's not black and white. D&D is the opposite of black and white. You have what is it? 9 different alignments.
Yeah, you have lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, etc.
All of them are about as shallow as a
And a bunch of fuck-ups from later editions.
Yeah, it's however shallow you make it. It can be as deep as you want it as well.
I have a good friend who I play D&D with, and he absolutely hates the fact that I'm a right-leaning centrist. I'm like, hey, I see your side, but I also see the other side. He's like, you have to go on one side or the other. If you're on the other side, then that's when I can actually argue with you. I'm like, no, I'm not going to. So next time I create a character and I play with him, I'm going to go full neutral. I'm going to do no chaotic good, no evil. I'm just going to be absolutely 100% neutral and see how much I can piss him off doing that.
The true neutral druid that switches sides to whoever's losing every turn of combat.
I play the fucking bard who steals everything that's not nailed down because I actually wanted to be a rogue, but the DM didn't let me. And then I pry out the nails and steal those too.
That's a bad DM.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he let you? Like story reasons?
Because a DM's like a good DM's like a fucking unicorn these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, the likely story. He says as he coyly drinks his Monster Energy.
Believe me. No, it's not energy.
Is that sipped? Oh, you have White Claw again?
But I am on the sip life.
Not
Hold
again.
on. I am on the sip
How
life.
long?
You are the whitest motherfucker.
How long have we been going? Because my curiosity is peaking about Rabbitt's story.
Dude, yes. Man, I swear, I'm not sure if Jetbat and I got in the same room together. I'm just not sure if we would create like a third Reich or something like that with how white we are. Or
We would
what?
start kissing and holding hands and touching each other's wieners together.
I'd be jerking off in the closet.
If there's anybody I'd like to start a gay Third Reich with, it would be Cantillions. We might have to save this one for later because I think it's so good. Fucking sex before marriage, fucking Dick, an 80s girl, and fucking Jesse Lee Peterson. Do you guys have any takes you want to sound off on that real quick?
Well, Jesse Lee Peterson is fucking up my plans for immigration fraud because I'm supposed to marry Dick to get citizenship.
Oh, okay. You finally contributed something worth hearing, Solitario. I knew you had it in you.
Thank
That
you.
was actually mildly funny, which is far better than you normally do.
I like Jesse even better now. Sorry, Solitario.
That means Solitario is on the same ratio as Oren.
I mean, like, just put everyone with vocal fry in a camp, and all of society's problems will just go away.
We already have that. It's called LA.
I didn't even know I had.
LA's not big enough for all of them. It's not big enough. It's not.
I didn't even know I had
Only-
vocal fry until I started talking to y'all. So
It's like the vocal fry zoo. If you have enough money, you can go up on the hills and look down on them all.
Solitario, you sound like a woman from LA LARPing as an English woman. I'm not gonna lie. You need to work on that.
It's
You're
fine.
actually
Alright.
very, very cute, Brap Master. I love you.
Thank you. So I used to work at Lowe's, right? I worked there for a couple of years, back whenever I was still in senior year of high school. And while I was there, we had some random shit events.
oh god.
And so it all started where someone had gone into the restroom, the male latrine, right? They went in there and they closed the door behind them and locked it, like the maintenance door that the fucking janitor uses to lock the door behind him and shit. He locks it, right? And he pops a squat and just shits all over the floor, right? And he takes this shit and he's smearing it all over the walls. He's writing "fuck you" in the mirrors and shit.
God.
It's all over the handles to the urinals, the handles to the fucking sink. It's all on the stall doors and shit. It's fucking everywhere. The toilet seats remain safe, though. The toilet seats were fine.
Oh well, okay. Points for being a gentleman.
Yeah, he
This
has
story
standards.
needs a
Professional
don't
has
be eating
standards.
now warning.
And so he had done this, right? I mean, there's like just extreme amounts of shit everywhere. And I can't remember. I think I talked about this last night. Fucking, I can't remember if it was this time or the second time, because he did it a second time. He came back and did it again.
What about the woman that shit in the store and then the other woman slipped on it?
Yeah,
you
no,
were
that's
talking
so
about.
that's the intermission. That happens in between these two shit events.
So instead of writing "fuck you" on the walls, did he just come back and say, "I am the shit master" or "the shit caper" on the walls instead?
So the second time, it was almost the exact same thing, but there was more profanity, like just more "fuck yous" and shit. The first time, so whenever they were cleaning up, it was like the store manager and this other chick went in there with like full on hazmat suits, right? And they're trying to clean this shit up. And she's the woman that's with the store manager she's feeling sick, right? She's not doing too hot. She's like, look, I want to like walk out, right? Like, I don't want to do this. And he looks at her right in the face, pulls up the shit mop and smacks her with it. Smacks her with the shit mop.
What?
Oh, that's
yeah. He got fired for that one. He got fired for smacking someone with the shit mop.
Well, for one thing, I'm not sure which state you live in. I mean, that's I would never put any of my employees on shit duty, ever.
Okay.
I mean, I live in Kentucky, so.
I mean, like, I know in California that shit's illegal. But like, I'd say, like, fuck this. I'm getting a hazmat team out here to actually properly sanitize everything. But
So a kid turns.
Yeah, there's the story extends past this one singular shit event.
Oh.
So, that all that shit happens, and I saw footage for this one from the security cameras. This chick's walking through one of the aisles, right? And she shits herself and cocks her leg out and just like lets it fall down her pant leg and kicks it to the side, like in the middle of the aisle.
Oh, like a dog or something.
Yeah, like a dog, and she just keeps walking, right? And some woman, I guess, didn't notice it, and she's coming up behind her and slips and falls in it and busts her elbow. And so she sued our Lowe's because she slipped and fell in human shit in the middle of the store.
Oh god.
I mean, that makes sense.
Did she win?
Huh?
Did she win?
No, she didn't win. Like, if what I remember correctly hearing about it, the judge was like, you should have just like saw this woman shit on the floor in front of you and not slip in it. Like, that's retarded.
I mean, yeah, that's what should happen. I only ask because I've heard dumber cases where people have won. So, I
Oh,
was
for
just
sure.
curious.
Yeah, plenty of people actually try for that too. Like, oh, someone shit on the floor. I'm gonna go slip in it and see if I can sue them.
Yeah.
Make some quick money. 'Cause a lot of times those types of companies will settle regardless.
I feel like that is a legit compensation moment, to be honest.
No, don't slip in shit.
No.
If you
Not from
see
the
a
company.
pile of shit on the floor, you don't step in it. Like,
Some other customer did something that another customer slipped in that should have known better. It's just the store is not at fault. It was not a
I
store
don't know
employee who
about
did it.
you, but when I'm in a retail situation, I'm not really looking out to be sidestepping human feces.
If you're living in Shitsville, Kentucky, I think you should always be looking out for shit because obviously that's where you live, Brap.
no, well, because at this point, our store was now notorious because somebody had shit like all over the bathroom, you know? And then,
Okay, like
I think it's all these progressive agendas worming their way into education that made everybody in this town having a fetish for scatology.
slip some
no,
piss,
because
I
the
can
thing
almost
that
That's what
understand.
it was.
the first time
Couple money.
went back, like I said before, he went back and did it again, right? And
We'll fucking do it again.
and then we fucking nothing incredibly interesting happened with that one. It was just he shit everywhere. It was pretty funny.
You're used to
I
this
was
at
going
this
to say
point.
nothing interesting happened other than he shit everywhere.
He's
Yeah,
used to
nothing
it.
interesting at all.
No, well, because I mean, dude, one time I was leaving the
And if I
warehouse
had
where I
been
worked
the
at, right?
employee tasked
And
with cleaning that up, I would have quit instantly.
Yeah.
I was leaving the warehouse where I worked, and I watch because I work in like the appliance warehouse because I did deliveries and shit. And I'd already clocked out. I'm walking out of the store, and I watch a dog just pop a squat and let out like a huge shit in the middle of the fucking aisle. And I was like, "Oh, bro, fuck, dude, I need to clean that up." And I was like, "Wait, I already clocked out." And then I was like, "Oh, hold on. No, I need to tell someone, right?" And I was like, "Wait, I already clocked out.
Clocked out.
This isn't my problem. I'm just gonna leave."
You must have got a great feeling of relaxation after you realize you don't actually have to do anything about it, though.
All right, Rabbitt, play us out with your story.
Yes.
Speaking of making quick money,
Captain Morgan,
I
you're the only
was
man who understands me.
I
love
was
you
looking
much.
for tech jobs on Craigslist because sometimes you get lucky. This man had a request for help with video editing, and I thought, okay, I could probably learn how to do video editing, no problem. So I inquired, and he said, it's a little sensitive. Are you 18? And I said, I'm 20. I think I was 21 at the time. I said, I'm 21. I told him that I could do it, and I went over to his house. And people would say, why would you go over to his house? Well, I don't know. I feel like I could fight a guy effectively enough. I'm not, a frail small child, but I found this guy on Craigslist, and he said, here's the edits that I want. He already had them time-stamped. Here's the edits I want. I want cut between this part and that part and this part and that part.
Did
and
he
I pulled it up.
Okay.
I pulled it up in the renderer, and he said, oh, you can see it? And I said, yeah, I can see it. I have to see it if I'm going to be making these edits to make sure that they're the right edits. And he said, oh, and I said, look, I don't care what's on here. I'm not going to... He's like, it's a video that I made with my wife. That's what I learned over Craigslist before I showed up. It's a video I made with my wife. Now, I agree to do this. I show up. I'm working on it.
If you were a woman, I'd know exactly where the story was going.
And it says, oh, this needs to render. And what I remember from watching that... Have you ever seen that video where the guy... says the N-word and says I'm a racist, Obama made me a racist, because he was rendering something and he couldn't refuse to auto-update?
I see that video.
The Windows 10 video. I have that saved. Let's see here. Windows 10 made me a racist.
Yes, that's the video. But I know from that video that rendering takes a long time.
Only if you have a shitty CPU with not enough cores.
I was on my laptop, so I said...
you definitely had a shitty CPU with not enough cores.
I did. I said, look, I'll bring this home. I'll do it there. I'll I'll put it on to, because he also wanted it burned onto DVDs, and I said I can't do that on my laptop. I can do that on my desktop at home. Look, I'll bring it back. I promise you, I'm not going to do anything with this sensitive information. I get home with the timestamps and the cuts, and I notice something about the cuts that he wants, the parts that he wants taken out. This is a video that he said he made with his wife. I don't see him in this video. I do see his wife.
Oh.
I also see two huge black men.
Oh.
Oh!
Tyrone and Tyrell make their cameo appearance.
Now, on her butt, they have written white slut.
I would ask if you thought it was Drexel who was in there, but two dudes isn't his style. He'd go one-on-one.
And all of the cuts that he wants, are to remove any scene in which you can see in frame the words white slut. And I said, do you want me to take out these words from the display? And he said, yes. And I said, I will do that. I will bring it back to you. Don't worry. So I sat there, and we agreed on $60 because I had no clue what to charge.
Wait, so were you just removing the frames that showed the writing?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
it's weird.
I was also burning them onto 12 DVDs. He provided me with blank DVDs.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Well, that's going to take
Motherfucker making race play cuck porn.
I don't think it's that. Here's something interesting. As I left, as I was leaving his house, he said, hey, do you know how to hack email? And I said, look, man.
Telling me I don't want to talk about it.
I could do it, but I cannot say that it will be cheap. And he said, how much? And I said, $300. And he said, never mind.
$300 was too expensive for him.
Did you find out why he wanted hacking?
I have an idea.
I learned something, and those of you following along, if you're tracking, you can probably figure out a part of the story. Don't spoil it for those who haven't figured it out.
Ooh.
But I learned after he wanted me to hack his email, I said, whose email is it? And he said, my ex-wife.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
looked at, when I was editing, I looked at the metadata on the original DVD he gave me.
Uh-oh.
The video was from 2012. This is an old video that he is going to share to the world.
Can you explain to me why he wanted to remove the frames of...
So I burned these 12 DVDs, met him in a public mall, and he was dressed exactly as a man in this situation was dressed. Leather jacket and
was he like in a
orange
trench coat?
baseball cap, sitting in the food court, not facing anybody. So I walked up to him. I set the discs in a stack on his table, and I did not make eye contact.
So basically, he wants to distribute revenge porn.
And he called me back and he said, hey. He said, hey. And I said, yeah. He said, it's all there. And I said, it's all there. And he said, okay.
Oh my God.
And I had my $60. And I now charge $75 an hour for any computer service.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
You learned something. That's the important part. You learned something.
The reason... No, there's more to the story.
Oh.
The reason I say 75 is fair is because I can do a motherboard swap in under an hour, and that'll make me like $60. And I think that's what I would pay. That's not nearly what you would pay like $8,000 or whatever at fucking Best Buy with the Geek Squad. But if you're paying me, that's my thing. Is that I like to go cheap because I actually don't need all that much
I know
money.
I prefer you, Rabbitt, mainly because you have done a great service for improving, progressing race relations between blacks and whites, and I want to thank you for your service.
I get a call from this guy.
You fucking idiot.
I get a call from this guy, and he says, "Hey, I'm having trouble playing them on the DVD player, but I can play them on the computer."
Oh, okay.
And he said to me, he said, "I can't play them on the computer, but I can play them on the DVD player." And I said, "Well, you asked me to burn DVDs." And he says, "I can play other DVDs on my computer." And I said, "You said that you wanted them burned as DVDs, and I burned them as DVDs. If they work in the DVD player, then they are DVDs. You have to change the configuration if you're going to play the DVDs as DVDs on your computer. What you have to do is you right-click it," and he said, "I don't want to hear any of that. You did it wrong." Because this guy is a boomer. And I said, "Look, I didn't do it wrong. You don't know how to do it." Because at this point, I was like, I didn't want to finish this job because this guy's going to blackmail his ex-wife. But I still delivered the product.
No, it's funny. His ex-wife is sending them out.
But I hung up, and he texted me, "Is like, you got to fix this," and I blocked his number.
Okay.
Then I'd say a couple of weeks later, I started getting these calls.
Oh boy!
And it would like a guy would be on the phone, and I would say hello, and he would say Rabbitt, and I would say yeah, and he would say what's up. So what do you mean? And then they would hang up. Now, I got a couple calls like that, and then I got another call specifically that said, "I found your number at the bookstore."
Oh,
that's interesting.
Oh no!
Which bookstore?
I know what happened.
And he said the Bristol bookstore, and I said I don't know what that is.
You don't, because it has a glory hole in the back.
But what I did eventually learn through several phone calls, I got this one guy, and he said, "What do you?" And I said, "What do you want?" And he said, "I don't know. I kind of like guys." And I found out that my number had been put in a bathroom stall at a sex toy store nearby, within about 15 miles from me, I'd say. Because this guy lived far away, and he never knew where I lived. We just know that we were in the similar radius.
Do you still have the number for the guy who called you?
I do not. I probably do. I could probably dig it up, but I don't care.
Could you give it to me?
See, this is why you don't meet people from Craigslist. They're all fucking psychos and murderers.
Now, I eventually called this place of business, and I said, "Look, this
I don't know,
guy
Craig.
that I worked with put my number in your bathroom stall. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to sue or anything, but could you please get it removed?"
Like,
And they
change
said,
that number.
"Yes,
Add some
we will
fives or
take
something."
care of that for you. I am sorry." And I got another call from another guy, and I called the place back, and I said, "Hey, did you do this yet?" And they said, "No, I'll do it right now." And then from then on, I didn't get a lot of calls.
Good.
And I thought that was the end of it until 3 days ago.
Uh-huh.
I got a call.
Oh shit!
I got a text that said, "I found your number in the bookstore."
What was the interval here? Like how long was it between it getting erased and 3 days ago?
Months.
Months?
I got it erased, I want to say December or January.
About half a year then.
Yes. It is
And he noticed it
somehow
was
like
gone.
half a year. I think that this
Motherfucker.
guy, noticed that it was gone and put it back.
So that means this guy is actually going to this bookstore, this sex toy store, multiple times.
Or at least every once in a while to notice that it's gone.
Dude, you're gonna have to like change your name, your number, everything. This guy
No,
sounds
probably
like
just
he's
his
gonna
number.
come slice and dice you one day.
You know what? I got a better idea, actually. How about we get him on the show?
That is a better
I like
idea.
that.
That's a brilliant
Where's
I
Riley?
knew I loved you,
Here's
Cantillions.
the
I knew
thing.
from day one,
Yeah.
but this just confirms it.
But what I'm curious about is why did he want those words edited out? Like, if it's revenge porn, why wouldn't he
I
want to
think
leave
that
the
he
white
felt
slut
bad
in there?
about them. Or I think that if they remained in shot, that he could argue, or she could argue, it was fetish and not unfaithfulness. I think he was going to use it to blackmail her and say that she cheated, rather than I wanted her to do this.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Sounds a bit dodgy.
It could be because
this guy was also like the biggest fucking Guido you've ever met.
What was the perspective on the camera? Like, who was holding the camera? Was it a third person? Like
It was
cameraman?
a fourth person, a cameraman perspective.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was thinking that maybe it was a hidden camera.
In
So maybe
some
he was
places,
filming
the
it.
camera was simply set down.
I mean, I'm no expert on video editing or anything, but would there not be evidence that things have been like cut out? If he
There
was going to use
would
it to try and be
absolutely-
like evidence for some shit?
There would absolutely, but that's not
Okay.
my fault. And
Of
if
course.
I don't think that there's a crime being committed, then I am not liable for literally any of that.
Because also, it could just be him. It could be his jerk off material. You don't know.
To be fair,
It could be,
anytime you
it
ever-
could be that he likes the
No.
infidelity, but he no longer likes the white slut part, and he just doesn't want it in his porn.
Well, he's also a boomer. He asked you to do any other tech job that he wanted done because you can do one thing with the computer. He assumes you can do all of them.
I can do a lot of things with computers. I have a very good grasp of the basics of computer mechanics. I do it for a living.
Do you guys have any thoughts about Dick's dad's
His
recent calling?
dad came on and acted like a boomer. What else is there to know? That's what he does every time.
I just love the dynamic between Dick and his dad, because his dad actually seems like really smart and witty, but you can tell
of
that
course.
the reason that like Dick is like always constantly disagreeing with him and Sean seems to disagree is because there's like history of like past family issues going on. So I just kind of think, ha, Dick daddy issues, and it's really amusing to listen to.
No.
I feel
No,
like he's
his
just
dad-
playing it up for fun.
I think his
I
dad's a
don't think
boomer,
so. He
and Dick.
seems genuinely annoyed.
I
Sorry,
think
go on.
Dick's dad's a boomer, and Dick hates boomer, but he loves his dad, so he's just conflicted.
Dick's dad is a boomer, but he's a lot smarter than many boomers that I talk to.
Yeah, except when it comes to car batteries, he's a fucking retard when it comes to.
Yeah, he's
All you gotta do is throw him in the ocean, baby.
Put him in the
yeah,
ocean.
just chuck him in the ocean. Pay like. I mean,
Disavow.
honestly.
Yeah, you see them, you throw him down the ocean.
Disavow.
Yeah. That's good.
Sophia's calling was very good.
Yes, I
Yeah,
No,
her
we
calling
just
was
want to
good.
see you. We just want to see you clap that ass, baby. You know, twerk that shit.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's not gonna happen. I'm
This
sorry.
well-intentioned Swedish man disapproves.
Well-intentioned Swedish man.
Tommy Tallarico was a staple on G4. Was it X-Play that? No, it wasn't X-Play. That was the other
X
two.
videos.
Judge.
XNXX.com.
Yeah, Judgment Day, and like
Was that it?
I don't know. They were like the other good show on G4 before they killed the networks.
Yeah.
He made some killer music back in the day.
You ever just stop and realize you're not allowed to have fun anymore?
Shut up, dude. You're
I
not
didn't
allowed to
have
have
to
fun.
stop and realize that my hobbies have been dying for decades.
Thank you for tuning in to Dick's show after show episode 3. I hate you all. I don't know why we do this anymore.
Thank you for
God
coming
bless.
to my secret bonus podcast after the real podcast.
Yeah.
See you next Tuesday.
The M. Night
next
Shyamalan
Tuesday.
twist is the fact that Rabbitt was a ghost the whole time.
I'm gonna go to Greenland.
Spooky.
I'm done. I'm done.
Greenland?
Go fuck yourselves.